Hi, everyone. It's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer. And today we're going to talk about how to thrive instead of survive. And I got to tell you, I did years and years and years of surviving. And it is a tough road to hoe. The most wonderful thing I think that ever happened to me was when I finally was convinced that it was okay for me not to have to just get by. I had all sorts of idiotic belief systems around money. First of all, I was so scared of money. I thought it could grow legs and come and attack me in the night or beat up my children or something. I don't know what I thought I could do, but I had a crazy relationship with money. And then I used to hear things because I was teaching. I would get comments like, well, you only work half a day, so you're getting paid well for the amount of hours that you put in. Or you don't work for the whole year, so you're really getting paid well. Well, if you're a teacher, you may work from 7 to 4, which in my book is a whole day already, and then decide to go home. And it's not unusual for you to take work home with you so that you can prepare for the next day. So you're putting in several more hours by the time you get home and have taken care of your family. So not only are you working a full-time job, you're working a full-time job with benefits. And yes, there are extended holidays. However, because the pay is so low, most teachers, including myself, have to have an additional job to make up for the fact that what they're earning during the year is not enough. So I swallowed all of those silly beliefs about why what I was being paid should feel honoring. And I was never able to break out of that poverty cycle because of those thoughts. So this Sunday, we're going to have our class, How to Acquire the Millionaire Mindset. And oh my gosh, they have pulled out the stops. I had things that I wanted to include because of the struggles that I had been through. But oh man, they've really made it fantastic. So join me this Sunday at 1:30 Pacific time if you are ready to next level your life. Now, just a quick mention. Somebody said to me, is it guaranteed? I said, no, it's not guaranteed. Absolutely, I will guarantee that you will learn something. That I can truthfully guarantee. But I can't guarantee that you take this class and suddenly your income increases or doubles. I don't know what thoughts you're holding in your head. They're your own thoughts. I don't know if you're going to apply any of the principles that you're shown. I have no control over how you choose to live your life. So if you take the class and you don't like it, I'm happy to give you your money back. But I will not guarantee anybody's result. That would be silly. That would be me saying, I know what you're thinking 24 hours a day and I can control it. No one can. Please don't fall for anybody that says that. Okay, so back on topic. It's a fabulous class. I hope you all can join me. I'm so excited about getting to present it. And today, let's stick our toe in the water and see what they can do to help us with this subject, because there's infinite amount of knowledge. What we discussed today, we'll add on to on Sunday. So they begin. Dear ones, there is such an overwhelming cultural bias that has occurred that many of you now firmly believe that surviving is to be valued, while thriving is to be seen as getting beyond oneself and asking for something that wasn't meant for you. I had forgotten. That was also part of the mindset that I grew up with, which was, you got a little too uppity if you believed that you were worth more than you were earning. So that was another part of that mindset that was shared with me. We were still heavily in the mindset that there was something admirable about the poor, devoted pastor who would serve his population. No women in the church at that time, not in ministerial roles. So it was the poor pastor and their family that would be so long-suffering. Completely idiotic. But that was something that I was exposed to and had to correct. Let's look at why that mentality was encouraged and then what you can do to correct that misconception so you too will be thriving. And as a person who's thriving, you'll then have the option of helping others. Hallelujah. Can we just get real about money for a minute here and say, if you don't have any, you're going to be lucky to help yourself. Forget all those good works that you would like to do. So if you're serious about doing something in this world, please stop saying no to money. Now, they go on to say, notice, we did not say you would have an obligation to help others, but merely the ability. So please put away that concern. Nobody is going to come after you and demand or tell you, well, they could, but you don't have to believe them because it's not true. You're not bad or good because you choose to help others. You just are. You can't help others unless you have the ability to do so. And that ability either requires you going out in person and doing something for people, or you sharing your money. Or you can choose to be in a field that doesn't directly help anyone because we're all connected. We all end up helping each other. It's just that some people don't want to do it one-on-one or to a group, and that's fine. Be who you came here to be. Be your best you. We need you to be exactly who you came here to be, not who someone else tells you you should be. The authentic you is the perfect you. Please, be you. Because what you do with that ability is always up to you. We seek neither to force or condemn any behavior. We merely seek to bring forth truth so you may make empowered choices. Please hear that. If someone is condemning you, telling you you're bad for any reason, take a step back and ask yourself, why do they need to say this? Perhaps it is true. Perhaps you should be changing a behavior. And that's wonderful. That can be a very empowered choice for you. But understand that they could have their own reason why they're saying that to you. So please take a step back and check it for truth. Run it through the truth meter in your heart. Does this feel true to me? And if you get that, I don't know, spend even longer in meditative time with Source where you can really see and you're not barraged by information. As always, you are never free from the consequences of your choices. Ignorance is not a defense nor a shield from the law of cause and effect. Blaming or shaming others is not a remedy for making a poor choice. The only way to move forward successfully is to take personal responsibility and seek to educate yourself about the truth in every situation. The truth cannot be hidden. Even perverted truths can be easily uncovered by entering the heart space and feeling your way through the belief. Your connection to Source will never lead you astray. It will always guide you home. The truth is home. It's your place of peace. So let's understand right from the beginning, God doesn't lie. God doesn't send out crazy information. That doesn't mean that people who say they are speaking for God are incapable of lying. The person may believe everything they're telling you, but it can all be based on crazy things they made up. Do your own work. Educate yourself. Check in. Does it feel good to me, or is it confusing? Do I need to check on this a little more? Is something going on here that I don't understand? Go to a quiet place and connect with God. God, what are you trying to share with me? That is the only way you are indisputably going to know the truth. Everyone else can be confused except God, including you. So please, I don't want to hear later that you said, oh no, I'm absolutely certain, and I find out you got it from your neighbor. Check with the highest source possible. Your neighbor may be correct, but they may have just made a mistake or learned it from someone else who made a mistake. Check with God, the highest source, the one that only has your best interests at heart, who wants to serve your highest self and to encourage you to do that as well. Now, let us examine why it has become acceptable to survive instead of thrive. When you're scrambling to make ends meet, to feed your family and to pay your bills, you're committed to the physical realm. I was there. It took me a long time to become spiritually attuned because I was scrambling in the physical realm. What you see, hear, and feel seems real, important, vital. It determines your very survival. That which is esoteric or thought-provoking in nature seems far-fetched, a question for a more prosperous time, or just not that important. I was still searching in my heart for understanding, for spiritual truths and principles, but I was able to push that away over and over again because the physical reality of where I was kept getting in the way. I was broke, and it was scary, and that got in between me and pursuing my spiritual path. After all, you may have hungry kids who have outgrown their clothes. So there's no time to contemplate spiritual matters. You must accept what is, do the best you can with what you have, and resign yourself to the status quo. It could be worse. You could be laid off. Well, this kind of thinking and this way of existing creates a numb mind that's easily controlled. In the dark period of your Earth's existence, many types of leadership were explored. The dictator, the king, the benevolent despot, all led toward governance by group and then on to elected officials as you learned what did and did not feel good. It's always the same process. Going through things that are not working will often lead you and be the only way that you get there to the thing that feels fabulous. Let the process play out. It's okay. You're not broken and you didn't do anything wrong because you've run into some things that don't feel good. You're exploring. It's most important that this process of elimination is allowed to progress unhindered. Part of being sure of your choice is knowing what you don't want. Certainty, obtained by experience, leaves little room for doubt. If anything kills us, it's doubt. So let those experiences play out. You can yell and scream during the experience. I don't like this. I don't like this. Okay, we get it. Let it play out anyway. You want to be certain that you're not going to allow that same experience to repeat. So you better squash the doubt. As soon as you squash the doubt and say, I know what I want, law of attraction begins bringing it to you. It can be no other way. Once you've endured a negative experience and have chosen not to have that experience again, you'll approach the situation with firm resolve instead of wishy-washy thinking filled with fear. That was me. I was the biggest wish-wash in the world. And I kept reading that passage. I kept getting sent back to the passage. Be either hot or cold, because if you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out of my mouth. And oh my gosh, I went running down the road with that one. Oh, Jesus hates us all. It's just a big lie. And church, which I never really understood in the first place, is even crazier. And I can't trust anybody, and it's all going to go terribly. Well, it was because I was walking down the middle of the road, getting hit on both sides by the cars going by. And I kept saying, save me, God, save me. And God kept bringing that passage to my mind. Go right or go left, girl, but get out of the middle of the road. I couldn't get it. So I kept bouncing back and forth, always ending up right back in the middle, confused, wishy-washy, hoping. But I realized I really hadn't given up on punishing myself. For whatever reason, I decided that I needed more punishment. So I allowed myself to stay in that horrible situation for years. Now I don't let them exist for more than a minute. And when I see what my thoughts are going off in the wrong direction, it is get out the lasso time and reel myself back into the place that I want to be. As I know what's coming down the pike, and I didn't like it. And I was finally able to make a choice not to be there anymore. It's as you leave the period of competition, and this is our society, beating each other to the top, and enter the era of cooperation, joining each other in love, joy, and peace, everything in the physical must change to represent your upgraded belief system. So, at least here in the United States, we've got a crazy person as a leader who is, I don't know, I stopped watching the news, who's will make you think the world is ending if you pay attention. Everything is changing. Everything is being exposed. As we usher in this new energy and we leave this period of dog eat dog, I'm better, you're worse kind of thinking, and we enter into this spirit of cooperation where we recognize that we're all one energy system divided into little physical representations, definitely the way we accept governance will have to change. Everything is going to yield to the spirit of love, joy, and peace when enough of us make the decision to climb into that high vibration and stay there. That means letting go of shame, blame, guilt, fear. That's the big one. Letting go of fear, prejudice, letting go of all of these pesky little things that have defined us as a world for so long. The internet has done a wonderful job of helping the younger generations, the generations that grew up with the internet, not to see prejudice in people. They don't see differences, they see similarities because they're joined by a medium that makes everybody their neighbor. But we still have a long way to go on acceptance, especially of ourselves. The fastest way to get there is to let go of the fear that you have allowed to control you. I know that sounds really tough, but it's true. You are putting fear in the driver's seat and saying, take me wherever you want to go. I'll be a willing passenger. Take back control. The control you willingly give to others is now being returned to the self as you assume responsibility for your own welfare. No longer content to go along with the status quo and just get by, many of you now realize you must learn how to thrive if you're going to bring your vision to fulfillment. Now that change is constant, instead of someday in the distant future, now that the energy of personal transformation is pouring forth unceasingly, and now that divine communication is personal rather than through a third party, you realize thriving is not only a pleasant change, but a necessary one if your vision is going to be brought to completion. This work that I do, I never would have considered it as in my earlier years. I had a lot of names for what I was doing, but I never would have considered it as work. What I am doing should only be put in the hands of some sort of clergy in a religious setting that can speak for God. None of us should have a personal relationship. Well, what happens when you don't really identify with any religions? I was out of luck. I went looking for a lot of religions, went to a lot of them, found a lot of wonderful things within each religion, discovered they're all the same at the center, which is based on the understanding that God is love. But I never really felt that I had a personal relationship with God until I was forced to, until I was so far down that there was just no more room to go down. So don't wait until then. Open your heart now into the heart, and there you will meet God. The God that loves you personally, that doesn't need a religious setting in order to speak with you. The God that loves you, that supports you, and is interested in keeping you safe and prosperous. So now our guides continue. Therefore, we offer a basic lesson in thriving. First, identify who you are. As long as you're content to be what everyone else has decided you should be, instead of the authentic self you've come to be here to be, you're going to feel like a fish out of water, gasping for breath, just trying to survive. When we had a few people in control and the rest of us sort of walking around with blanks for minds, the idea was copy someone else. Be like so-and-so. That's how you'll get to the top. Now we've got to understand that copying or imitating somebody else is never going to feel good to our heart. Sure, if you see somebody is successful and you want to adopt some of the things they're doing and make them your own, sure. They've already climbed a few steps and they'll help you get there faster. But please don't leave who you are behind trying to be them. Stop trying to be who they've asked you to be and discover who you are. You'll find that answer in the heart center. If you feel clouded, bogged down, or uncertain when you go into the heart to meet your authentic self, ask for assistance from the divine. If you don't have a clear picture of who you are, it may be hidden under layers of limiting beliefs or unhealed trauma. Ask for assistance and then sit quietly as your being processes the answer. The spiritual doesn't happen quickly. For those of you who were looking for a magic wand or the perfect pill, it's not going to happen if you're serious about pursuing your spiritual path. It is a growth process that will never stop occurring. So be prepared to spend some time processing, sitting quietly, waiting, and being grateful while you're waiting. Give permission to yourself to receive and understand the answer. Do not become lazy in your search for your true self. Continue doing the work until you have uncovered the authentic self that is you. You came to be someone brilliant. Be grateful that brilliance is within each one. I don't know who you came to be, but I know it is incredible. Do the work to find out who you are. Now that you know who you are, you'll be able to understand the gift you brought to share. It's most important that you explore this gift. It will be unique to you in its expression. Many may share a similar passion, but only you will be able to express it in any meaningful way. This is so, so, so important. There may be 1 million singers in the world today, but the best singers will take what's unique about them, and it can be your voice, it can be your choice of tone, it can be the speed or the tempo that you adopt, or it can just be the way that the phrasing that you use, or the way you respond to music. The best singers are going to be the ones that put their authentic touch on whatever it is they're singing. They will be remembered. The one who just gets up and imitates someone else, even if you sound almost exactly like the other person, it will never feel authentic because you're copying somebody else and you're hiding who you are. This is why copying is such a misuse of energy, because when you try to copy someone else's unique expression, you dilute your own and ultimately remove the power. Remaining powerful is the key to thriving. The competitive mind controlled others by stating that some were powerful and some were powerless. I'm sure you've all heard that. Oh, this guy's powerful. This woman is powerful. You're just an office worker. This is a false belief system. As soon as you stop identifying yourself as powerless, you will begin to thrive. In order to thrive, you must lay claim to your own inner power and then bring it from the inside out where it can be put to use in the physical realm. You have got to do something. That's always the truth. Anybody who tells you, take this pill and it will be better in the morning. No. Get into that heart space. Find who you are and bring it forth and put it to work. Accepting your personal truth, I am powerful, ensures that you've taken responsibility. When you take responsibility, you make empowered choices that honor who you are and the gift that you've brought to share. When you're honoring every aspect of your being in this way, you elevate yourself to the highest levels of consciousness, the place of love, joy, and peace, where you have access to the unlimited divine mind which creates without ceasing. To stop for a minute and ask yourself, if I connect with the divine mind and I begin creating correctly without ceasing, in other words, creating what I do want instead of what I don't want, am I going to remain poor? No, it's impossible. It's impossible not to thrive in the presence of the divine, but you must give yourself permission to be in this place of glory by recognizing your right to be powerful and divinely inspired. Everyone creates without ceasing. Our thoughts go continuously, whether we're paying attention or not. The difference is that when you are connected with the divine mind and you're in that place of love, joy, and peace, you begin creating from the highest order, which means you're going to create what you do want. Good things, as opposed to fear-based, unhappy things. Thriving requires knowing yourself, accepting your gift, and putting it to use for the highest good of all concerned as you partner with the divine for guidance and inspiration from your high place of love, joy, and peace. When you're in that high place, it's impossible to plot against someone else. It just doesn't happen. You automatically reach for the highest thought, the best feeling, the most accomplishment that you can. So that's why it is so much easier to create what you do want when you've done the work to connect with the divine through the heart space and get rid of those limiting beliefs. And on Sunday, we're going to attack limiting beliefs. We are going to rewrite your money contract. We are going to quantum jump into a reality where you actually thrive already. And I'm going to follow that with 21 days of money, miraculous money affirmations that will allow you to keep affirming this positive mindset that we've created for you until it becomes your new habit, because it takes 21 days to change a habit. So you will have first 2 hours of support where we change the thermostat, change the temperature from out in the cold to in that balmy place that feels just right. And then we're going to keep following that for 21 days. Because I want you to win. It is really important to me that you win, because that makes me feel good. That's what brings me joy. So I'm serving myself as I serve you by giving myself a tremendous amount of joy when I help share that which will help you. So let's review just for a minute, and then I want to hear what your money stories are and how I can help you. The thriving mentality, when you say and feel really good about yourself, isn't wishful thinking. You can be in a thriving mentality even if your bank balance has not yet accepted that mentality. Everything happens first in the energetic. So you can feel really good about where you are in the energetic and how prosperous you are, even if your bank balance hasn't caught up yet. Because it's not wishful thinking, and it certainly is not reckless behavior to feel good about who you are and where you are. The person who is the gambler would be a desperate person. So this is probably as far from that as you can go. You have on one side the lower vibrational energy of the gambler, the person who's just kind of frantic, throwing money, hoping. And on the other side, you've got calm, peaceful certainty. I know that if I follow these steps, I will see an increase in my income. Why? It's law. Law of attraction says that when you change your mind from one of desperation, fear-based thinking to one of peace, calm, and certainty, that you will get those things that support that thinking. You'll either get the fear-based crazy, or you'll get that calm certainty. So it's whatever makes you feel good. If being broke makes you feel superior in some way, you will stay broke. Guarantee it. If you'd rather really have money in the bank, be able to help yourself, your family, and others as you're guided, you will let go of misguided notions. If you want to move from a place of survival to one in which you continuously thrive, you got to do a couple of things. First, mentally prepare. No more walking down the middle of the road wondering why they're hitting you from both sides. Spiritually, really get strict with yourself. Get disciplined instead of wishy-washy. And physically begin making changes. So physically, you may want to begin doing things that would support your new bank balance. Taking whatever you have with you right now and making the most of it. I'm not saying go out and write checks or charge things that you can't afford, but put on a nicer outfit. Take a little bit more time with your appearance so that physically you feel good. Support yourself in every way. But remember, it's always going to happen energetically before it can solidify and become physical. Everything happens first on the energetic plane. If you don't get it right energetically, if you are all over the place like in a pinball machine, just bouncing around all over the place, your physical reality is going to reflect that. There is a little bit of a time lag. The physical is always the slowest because it's the densest. So you have an opportunity when you recognize, oh my gosh, I'm bouncing around like a pinball. You've got an opportunity to get it right and to go back and say, no, this is not the way my story is going to end. This doesn't feel comfortable, and it is not for my highest good. So I'm going to release those thoughts and go find the ones that feel best. Then your physical may not even shift into that erratic crazy. Once you're right energetically, things are going to fall into place. It almost feels like it's paint by numbers. It becomes so much easier. Where in the beginning you may feel like you're really grasping for straws and you really have to work so hard at this, as long as you stay consistent and persistent and you do not allow doubt to be creeping up on you from all different directions, you will absolutely fall into a pattern of ease as you master more and more of the spiritual principles. But remember, right now, the energy is shifting for everyone. So you don't get upset or confused if you feel a little off balance. The energy is shifting. We're in a period of instability. Learn how to embrace it and just kind of flow with it. Recognize that other people may not support you on your journey. They may see it as being reckless. They may be afraid of losing control, especially those people who have a significant amount of money in the bank but don't have a good relationship with money. They're completely fear-based over that money that's in the bank. At some point, that money is going to disappear or something is going to happen that will reflect their thinking. So don't expect a fear-based person to be able to support you in what you're doing. Also recognize they may not be interested in taking responsibility for where they are. And if you do take responsibility, it may make them feel threatened or ashamed. So be alert that you might get some pushback. Keep your ideas to yourself if you need to. Or join our group, Heal Our Hearts, our Facebook group, and share what you're doing there. We will welcome and support your ideas. You can't ask anyone else to make a decision for you. So just keep that in mind. If you are really going to thrive, if your world is going to be one where you are really in the driver's seat, you cannot go to other people and ask them to do for you what you will not do for yourself. Do your own research. Check in with your own heart. You can ask other people for advice. Gather advice from trusted sources. And then run it all through your truth meter. All of that advice that you've gathered, what you're thinking, put it all in the truth meter. What feels good to you? Sit quietly in meditation. God, please guide me. What feels best to you? Not what somebody else is doing or saying. That may be right for their authentic self, but not for you. You must honor you. As you uncover your authentic self, you will become more and more relaxed and more happier. I think happier is the best word I can use. It's who you came here to be. You're going to feel the most comfortable being your authentic self, but recognize it may be buried under years of conditioning and it may be painful to let it come forward. Lovingly release the layers. Don't get into blame or shame. Don't compare or judge. And don't give up because it may not happen quickly. The layers may be covered over with cement. Just be persistent. You're still there. That authentic you is still in there. Because your ability to thrive is tied to you expressing who you are. So as long as you're trying to be someone you're not, or you're copying somebody else, something that worked for someone else, that's going to place energetic limitations on what you can receive. It's not going to place limitations on them, and you may look at them and say, hey, how come they're getting so much and I'm getting so little? Well, they're being their best version of themselves. And you may be trying to imitate them, and that's never going to work. Because energy flows most freely toward the open vessel. Become that open vessel. The only way to do that is by being your authentic self. When you're trying to be that copy, you're hiding under a layer of deceit. So I used to go to Unity Church. This was a Unity Church in Florida. Wonderful. And I remember that minister happened to be a woman. That minister saying, if you are in a job where you're unhappy, get out. Now, I was very new to the spiritual world at this time. I thought, what? Leave your job? This woman's crazy. I said, get out. Oh my gosh. It's because you have someone else's job. When you are unhappy, you have placed yourself in a situation that's not serving you. Get out of that situation or do something to make the situation better. But stop trying to force what is never going to be. Honoring your gift brings the most joy. Always, joy will always bring the most abundant exchange. Think about, I use this example all the time. You're feeling blue, you go to the playground, and you happen to go by a place where the kids are playing, little kids. And they are shrieking with happiness. They're having so much fun. They are discovering these new things that are so exciting to them. And it can be a flower or a butterfly, but it's new to them. And they are so excited. Do you feel yourself and as you watch them opening up? And doesn't it just feel like suddenly you are so much more abundant? Everything seems better. Joy will do that, and finding your authentic self, who you came here to be. And not everyone came to be a leader. Please let go of that notion. When you find who it is that you came here to be, it will feel like being set free. Being a little kid again. Discovering the joy of a butterfly or a flower. Life will feel magical. And certainly abundant. Now, we're all going to feel joyful or certainly more abundant when we love what we're doing, and then that energy cannot help but act like a magnet that pulls the right people to you. So, again, going into the Bible, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Why? I used to think that's a horrible thing to say. Does that mean I'll always be poor? As long as I had that mindset, yes. As long as I believed that I was poor, that I was unable to change my situation, and that was all I could expect, that was all I was going to get. So, be you, share your gift, and receive abundance. It's really pretty easy. But when I tell you to share your gift, please, that does not mean giving it away. Sometimes it's appropriate to give something away. But know that what you give isn't valued by the person who's receiving it unless they have done something for that gift. That's why we use the medium of money or barter or some sort of medium of exchange. If you just run around and say to all of the people that are going to receive your gift, don't do a thing, just sit there. I'll do everything for you. And you passively run around, let's say you hand out $100 bills, and you say, okay, you don't have to do a thing. Just sit here with this $100 bill, and I will do everything for you. You're not allowing that person to join you in the high place. You haven't affected their self-esteem. If anything, you've lowered it. They don't feel better about themselves. They didn't do anything to bring that money to them. They don't know how to do the next thing to bring more money to them. And you're essentially crippling them. So when you share your gift, ask people to meet you at least halfway. Reach out. You say to the other person, reach into yourself, find something that's great about you, and reach out and give me something in exchange for this gift that I'm going to give you. Money is the easiest exchange because it has a set value, but it's not the only exchange. However, get out of the habit that you're only a good person if you're giving away your gift. I've had people say to me, well, it's a gift, you should give it away. No. Everyone comes with something they do well. Therefore, everyone is gifted. Should everyone be giving it away? Why aren't they? I guarantee you the person that's asking you won't be giving theirs away. We can exchange equally, and then it will be fair. But just telling one person, give it all away, and let the rest of the world do nothing, creates imbalance and terrible confusion, and it does not create abundance. So if you insist on continuously emptying yourself, you'll eventually run dry, and then maybe you'll survive. You certainly won't be thriving. Maybe you'll survive. Or maybe you just won't be good to anyone anymore. And then, how has that been beneficial? So you want to own who you are, the gift that every single person on this planet brought to share. Everybody's got one, so nobody can say, I need your gift because I don't have one. That's not true. Got to claim and then stay powerful by being your authentic self, making use of your gift, establishing a partnership with the divine. We can't do it by ourselves. We don't do anything by ourselves. Even the person who has limited their connection to Source is still breathing, and their heart is beating because of Source. So the person who claims they are an atheist or a devil worshiper or whatever, they are not disconnected from God. Can't happen unless they have chosen to stop all of the functioning in their physical body, at which point they would return to the energetic and they would recognize they are one with God. So please don't believe this nonsense. I did it all on my own. We always work in partnership with God. And when we recognize that, we just get a heck of a lot wiser because we've got better information pouring in. God is always broadcasting. There is never a time when God says, I don't like you today. You don't get any information. There can be many times when you become confused, fearful, angry, hurt, sad, ashamed, you name it, and you're no longer able to hear that still small voice. It's okay. Take a moment, take a breath, get back to your center, and reconnect. God will not have gone anywhere in that time. You will have just moved yourself away from the place of receiving. Now, I know taking responsibility might sound like you're taking on a heavy weight, and I talk about it all the time. And I don't want anyone thinking that suddenly life will become so difficult or burdensome. I want you to look at your life right now. If it feels free and light and lovely, good for you. You've taken responsibility for where you are. If it feels heavy, burdensome, and out of control, it's that way because you're not taking responsibility. You're still believing someone somewhere is smarter than you are and has an answer that you're not able to have. There are wonderful teachers out there. Seek them out. But that doesn't mean the teacher is smarter than you are. They may have learned a little bit more. They may have been on the path a little bit longer. They may have some additional wisdom just because of their years of experience. But a good teacher will be happy to share what they know with you. And they will push you to be able to function on your own and even surpass them. Now, I always tell you, and I tell all of my students, I'm growing every day. I still would be delighted if you surpassed me, but believe me, I am growing every day. So I don't sit and just wait and think, okay, well, I've learned everything I need to learn. I'm growing every day. I'm reading, I'm communicating with a divine mind. I am researching. I'm questing. I love it. I can't imagine a life in which I'm not intellectually curious about the way the world works and the way to make my life and other people's lives better. So, when you're personally responsible, you are creating freedom and you are saying yes, 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 yes to divine assistance. Not just help me make sure my physical body, the autonomic nervous system, please make sure that's working, God. But, hey, I need help here. I am fully of the mind that I don't have all the answers. So, God, speak to my heart. Thriving becomes easy when you're flowing with assistance. You're just always available for the next opportunity. There will be no more missed buses. If you miss the bus, it's because the one coming behind it is better. So you don't spend any more time, oh, I'm so sorry, I'll never get it right. That was me. Years of that. Now I'm like, oh, darn, I screwed up. Or maybe I didn't screw up. Maybe there's a better bus coming next. Okay, I get it. What did I learn? How can I move forward? And I'm excited about this next opportunity that's going to be even better, or at least will be equal, because I'm ready. I'm open. I'm excited. Remaining powerful is the key to thriving. Be the unique expression of yourself, but understand that you are powerful. And I guarantee you that you're going to see wonderful opportunities. Will you wake up and it's suddenly raining $100 bills in your yard only? Probably not. It could happen. It's possible. If you become so good at manipulating energy, and changing it into the form that you want, like the yogis are able to just create whatever it is they desire, then you could have a $100 bill party in your yard. But what's more likely is you're going to be there for opportunities as they arrive, or you'll create your own opportunities that will help others. Because it's when we work together and in partnership with the divine that, and when we work with that spirit of cooperation, that everyone gains. That's the best way to ensure that you will always thrive, is to help yourself and help others. And oh my gosh, I have talked this entire time. I'm just getting so excited about this subject because it was such a long road for me personally. And I have realized just recently, wow, I'm not there anymore. And I really need to share what I have learned with all of you. Because it was a long, long road for me. So, as always, if you have a question or a concern, you may email me, Marcia, M-A-R-C-I-A, at marciamartinthehearthealer.com, or join our Facebook group, Heal Our Hearts, and you can ask a question in the group. I have wonderful admins in addition to myself who are there to help answer your questions, and people who are just going to love you and want to see you do the very best you can, because they understand when you do well, we all do well. The more abundance that's flowing in the universe, the easier it is to convert energy into whatever form of abundance you require. The more there's a poverty mindset, the more difficult it becomes. The more that the poverty is the overwhelming thought, and you have to work harder to get past that. So, get on your abundance train, knowing that you're going to help yourself and others. And this class on Sunday is magnificent. I couldn't stop writing and writing and writing and writing. There is so much stuff that we're going to, every time I thought, okay, that's enough. We really have enough here. They would give me another idea and another idea and another idea until it just grew and grew and grew. So, oh my gosh, it's going to be great. Join me if you can at 1:30 Pacific Coast Time on Sunday, what's the date? Hang on a sec. Sunday the 12th. If you can't, sign up for the class anyway. They're always recorded. The classes are always recorded, and you'll receive it in your email. And what I've started doing is rewriting notes so that you'll have notes in addition to the class. So you don't have to go back and listen to the whole class. Once you've been through it, you can just look at your notes and say, oh, what was that? I think I forgot that. So there are a multitude of ways to get that information until you really have it as part of your spirit, and it just works out naturally for you. You just automatically, that's your go-to way of thinking. All right, everyone. I love you all, and I'll see some of you on Sunday, and those who aren't able to make it, I will see you on Wednesday. And again, we'll have something wonderful to talk about. So, sending you all my love.